And my curl is just Jesus. Hi everybody, welcome to today's video. So today's video is actually it's basically a favorites video, but I'm actually going to talk about my yays, nays, and just okays. So I kind of feel like everyone always wants to either talk about the worst or the best makeup, and they never really mention anything in the middle. So I kind of thought it would be a really cool idea to just kind of have a just okay portion to tell you that I tried it and I think it's okay. So you can maybe make an opinion off of what you think would work for you. So if you were interested in the video, please keep watching and let's get into the yay, nays, and just okays. Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if it's fake, 'cause I don't fucking care at all. Okay, so I kind of have a list. I have a lot. So these are basically, I have to say, these are basically like all year that all the stuff that I've used. I don't want to, it's definitely a few months. So this is not all brand new stuff that I've just tried, but I'm going to try to show you. Right now, my desk is a hot mess. So I'm not 100% sure if I have everything or where everything is because I went home to visit my family and it's not quite all completely unpacked yet. Because of that, you may not see everything, but I will try to show you most of everything. All right, so I'm going to start with the yays or the favorites. So basically, number one has to be the Jaclyn Hill palette. I have it here. It's not really anything I'm pretty sure no one's seen, but to be honest, like this really is like my favorite palette. I did a whole tutorial, swatches, everything on that palette. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and go over there to watch that because I feel like I talk a little too much about that palette, so I don't want to take up too much time in this video on it. So the next favorites that I have is the Juvia's Place palettes. I have the Saharan and the Masquerade Mini. The mini is literally just a mini version of the full size one. So those two palettes are really, really good. And if you are interested, they are Black owned palettes. So I really wanted to mention those because one, they're probably the best, most pigmented shadows that I own. So I personally, and I honestly would say that quality wise, I would put Juvia's Place over the Jaclyn Hill palette. The only reason that I would say I like the Jaclyn Hill palette more is it has a lot more colors to play with, which means that I can create more looks with just the one palette. That's really honestly the only thing that I would put that over Juvia's Place for, because there is a couple shades in the Jaclyn Hill palette that I do not like. So, but as far as Juvia's Place, every single one works perfectly fine for me. I really like it, honestly. I would say anyone should go buy that, especially if they have the money. All right, so the next favorite is the ColourPop Lippie Sticks. The one that I like is the La Mer. I'm not exactly sure, but it's the Lippie Sticks, and it's kind of like this color a little bit, but a little more on the purple side. I love that topped with a like gloss or a metallic. So the Lippie Sticks do, I think, dry down, but I always wear that with something on top of it. So I have these two models owns, like kind of like lip toppers basically. And also the one I really like to wear with it is the Huda Beauty one that I won in the giveaway. So I personally like to pair those together the best, but I will top it with like a metallic lip or a gloss or something like that. That has definitely been a favorite recently. The other thing that has to be a favorite is my BH Cosmetics, the Think Pink set. I bought this during October's promotion where they donated, I think it was only $4, but they donated money to breast cancer awareness research, which is why I bought that. But honestly, I really love this set. It doesn't come with a whole lot of brushes, but to be honest, if you're traveling, I think that's the only set that you need to bring with you. So I did bring like every single brush I ever owned when I went, but honestly, I ended up only using this set and like two more brushes. So to be completely honest, I did not have to bring all of those. And I do think that if you're traveling, this is the perfect set for you because it basically has everything you need. You just might need to bring like a beauty blender or something. Next thing I really like is the Nude Rose palette. So if you watch my tutorial, I use this on my brother and I use doing my brother's makeup. I use this on him. On the way back, I broke the banana shade over here. Yeah, so I ended up putting it back together. It basically is kind of like Play-Doh now, which I don't even know if I could have used that color anyway, so it's really not a big deal that that one broke, but honestly, this contour shade is my life, like the dark one, and I really need to use this to see. I really need to use the whole palette to see, but I have used these three and this highlight. Basically, I just haven't used this banana shade or this like kind of shiny blush, basically. But actually, I did use the banana shade. I lied. I used it underneath my eyes. It didn't really do much, I don't think, but it also was already broken. So I don't know if maybe that just means it wasn't working because of that. But I really like that palette. BH Cosmetics is highly affordable. Go to the BH Cosmetics website. Don't buy off of Ulta because they have everything on their website 99.9 every single time that I have went on there, everything was on sale. There was something always on sale. So I would tell you that you definitely need to go to the BH Cosmetics actual website, not Ulta, and it's usually cheaper on BH Cosmetics website than it is Ulta. So the next thing that I have to say I really love, and I got this in the BoxyCharm in October, I believe it was. This is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Liquid. This is Prosecco Pop. I did not think I was going to like this at first, but when you shear it out, it is honestly really, really perfect. It's extra gold, so I do think that this is more geared towards deeper, or not deeper, I would say medium skin tones, medium to tan. But even on my fair skin, I'm not wearing this today or anything. I am wearing Champagne Pop, but for some reason it's not as like illuminating as it normally is today. So for the price point though, I don't think it's something that you should just go out and buy because it is $41 for this. It is a big tube. It looks like it, but honestly it's only an ounce. It's 1.7 fluid ounces, so it's still not a huge amount of product. I mean, it's about as much as you would get in a foundation, so it's nice. But if you also don't like this on your face for highlight, you can mix this with your foundations if you like a glow. However, again, this is $41. The only reason I even have it is because of BoxyCharm. So if you are not interested in spending $41, I would tell you can pass on this. But if you are interested and you want to try it, I do actually really like this. I would say for lighter skin tones that maybe you should try a different one, but you can make this work. The next thing, maybe I should start marking these off because I'm losing my place. So the BH foundation is like basically my new, I don't know why I keep separating like that. I don't really like how it sits in the thing, but this is it. It was like $4-5, something like that. Again, BH Cosmetics website. Get everything from there because it's always on sale. But I actually really, really love this little foundation for $4. Like, you really can't beat it. It's basically like one of the better drugstore foundations. I don't want to call it the best because I do have better foundations even on this list, but for the price point, this is really good. The only thing I say that is a big con for me, but I mean, there's a lot of foundations that do it, so I can't even really be mad, is it settles pretty hard in my fine lines, or not even fine, like my forehead lines and stuff like that. It does settle, but it is a very nice foundation. And again, I have dry skin, so if you have oily skin, I cannot guarantee that this will even work for you, but this is the Naturally Flawless line is what this is called. It is not a dupe for it by any means, but it gives you kind of a very like natural finish, kind of like how the Makeup Forever HD foundation does, which is why I really like this, because for me, it's really no different. By the time it goes on your skin and everything's said and done, they basically look the same. I wouldn't call them dupes by any means, but I would say that they basically do the same thing. And the HD does not settle as much in my fine lines, but $4 versus $40, you can't really beat that, in my opinion. All right, so the next thing on here is the LA Girl foundation mixer. There was a foundation that I had bought that was too dark, and I mixed it with this, and I really love this. The foundation ended up not being like my favorite, but this is also a high definition long wearing illuminating foundation, so if it is a little dark, you can also pop this in here and make it a little illuminating as well, but it will lighten your foundation because it is pure white. All right, so hands down, absolutely favorite foundation that I have, hands down, is now the Peach Perfect Too Faced Comfort Matte Foundation. I hate it because it's 30 some dollars, $32, $34, something like that. But honestly, it's what I'm wearing today. I really love this. It does not settle on my fine lines as bad. Like, you can still see some of my forehead wrinkles, but as far as my smile lines, it doesn't really settle in there. And it is a really good foundation. Only thing is it's not super high coverage in my opinion, but I don't think it claims to be either. But as far as it being matte as well, again, I have dry skin. It does not mess with my dry skin, nothing. It doesn't cause like any dry patches or anything to pop out or anything like that. It is all around a very good foundation. So if this is something you have been looking at, I would tell you to get this. Again, price point wise, I'm not going to say this is something you need. I've given you a couple other examples. I finally found a powder that I actually really love and is not just, and it does the job. This is the Too Faced Born This Way powder. I really love this. This has been literally my go-to powder. I'm kind of mad because this is the setting powder, ethereal setting powder. This is the only shade that it came in. However, I did try this on my friend. She is tan. I would call her tan skin tone. It didn't make her look ashy or anything, but I did not do a like flashback test or anything on her. So I don't know how this would do on deeper skin tones. However, I would say medium to light at least can use this. But this was the only shade that they had. And it doesn't say translucent, I don't think, anywhere. It just says ethereal, whatever that means. So yeah, but I really do like this a lot. And the packaging is really cute. And I actually really like the fact that when you open this, you have a lid. So everything's plugged up. Like, you basically have to open this and then shake it out. And then I basically shake it out, use it all, close it back, close it up, and it's good to go. So I actually really like this. Last but certainly not least, I would have to say my next favorite is the Subculture palette. It is what I'm wearing today on my eyes. This palette, I already have a couple videos on, so I don't want to go too in depth, but this palette is definitely not for beginners whatsoever. I wouldn't call myself super advanced. I'm not the best. I'm still practicing a lot on myself. I don't know how to do everything. However, I can make this work. So if this is something that you are into and you don't consider yourself a beginner and you consider yourself pretty good with makeup, you might want to try this, but you can always return it if you don't like it. So again, this palette I think is $42. So to be completely honest, if you are very much not wanting to do it for the price point, I don't blame you. I avoided this palette like the plague for the longest time, even though I absolutely loved all the colors inside of it because of all the reviews and everything. But to be honest, I'm kind of glad that I got it when I did, because one, I kind of feel like they changed everything because I don't have the blending issue that everyone else had. Not saying that they didn't have that issue. I personally don't have it. So I think maybe they fixed something in it and maybe that's why. So again, I could be completely wrong. Maybe they really just didn't do nothing. But that is one of my favorites. I will have to say, just because of the difficulty, I would kind of place this at the very bottom of my favorites, closer to the okays, but it's over the okays enough to be a favorite. Does that make any sense? Like, if I had to place it, it's literally like in the middle of the okays and the favorites. Like, it's not the best palette I've ever had. I do really like it and I do continue to use it. However, it is not the easiest, best palette to work with. I do think it's something that you should try for yourself. All right, so I'm going to go to the nays now. So again, I'm just doing this in order. And the favorites was the longest, so everything else is not going to be as long, which is good because this is already kind of a long video. But the nays. So this is also the disappointments. So for Tarte lip paint, the Tarteist lip paint, this right here. I retried it again today. This has been on this list for a minute, but I retried this again today, and honestly, this is, I don't even understand. I just can't. This is something, for me, you have to line. But when I lined my lips with the next product I'll go over, it was crusty and god awful. If you go to, I think, my October box, I think that's what this came in, for BoxyCharm, and you can see I really don't like this. This is a high disappointment. This is, oh my god. So the next one, I kind of want to say that this is more of an okay than a disappointment, but I still have it on the disappointments list because I don't really know how I feel about it. But let me see if I can find it. Is it this one? Yes. This is the Jante Bleu. I don't even know if that's how you actually say it. But this is the lip liner that was also in the BoxyCharm, the same one that this came in, and I tried them together. To be honest, it made the color better because I tried this by itself today. This made me ghost death looking. This was not a good color on me. It looks really pretty in the bottle, and honestly, I thought like by itself it would be a very pretty color, especially because I'm so pale. But putting it on, it's basically like, I don't even, I don't know. And I don't like this formula at all. So this is one that I would just tell you to probably steer clear of. So when I did it with this, the color was a lot better, a lot nicer. However, this, it's just kind of dry. It's it's not the easiest lip liner to work with. It is definitely not the creamiest. It's basically worth the $5 that, if that. Honestly, I could see people spending like 99 cents on this. Like, I'm not trying to like shade them at all. This is definitely not the nicest lip liner at all. To be honest, I have a bunch of the J-Cat Beauty ones. I bought these on Amazon, a whole pack for 15 bucks. They are way better. I am keeping this because I do want to retry it and make sure that I'm not like, I want to give it the benefit of the doubt, but when I applied this first. It did feel very drying on the lips as well too. And I use ColourPop. People complain about ColourPop and Morphe and all them being drying, and they are. But this, for me, was way worse than either one of those. So as of right now, I'm going to retry this, but this is definitely a disappointment. The next one I have, I don't actually have anymore. I gave it to my stepmom for her to try. Actually, the next 3 I don't have anymore. Next 4, all of the rest of my disappointments I actually don't have anymore because I got rid of them. The first one that I have is the ColourPop concealer. I tried and tried. I love ColourPop. ColourPop is my all-time favorite lip formula. It is basically one of my favorite eyeshadows. ColourPop for me is a very, very good brand, and I really love ColourPop. But this concealer, good Lord, I don't know what happened. First off, I bought a shade dark or a shade lighter than my skin tone. As you can see, I'm pasty. This oxidized darker than my skin. And I was kind of like, not sure how I feel about that. But I kept trying it, and it creased. Oh my god, it creased. Like, I thought when I tried the Tarte Shape Tape that was bad. This was by far crease central. Like, I never in my life. Like, it basically looked like I was like 10 years older every time I wore it. And so I ended up giving it to my stepmom. I don't know if she'll be able to use it. I don't know if she will even like it. I will say the only time that I liked the ColourPop concealer was to put it on, mix it with my foundation, put it on my face, because it did make the rest of my foundation stuff super creamy and very, very blendable. It was very, very blendable. I will say that it blended like a dream. As upsetting as it was, I had to put the ColourPop concealer in the disappointments. It's sad. It's a sad day. The IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Powder. I don't even know what happened. When I tried that, it was, I was like cakey. It did not disappear any pores whatsoever on my face. And I like got cakey, and it was a hot mess. It did not look good. Like, I think I tried it one time and literally took it straight back to Ulta. I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. You're going to have to take this back. Next one, the Ulta eyeliner, the liquid liner. Yeah, the applicator was terrible. I did not like the applicator. and not to mention, it like basically dried, like it felt like I could have just peeled it straight off my face. Like the way it dried, it was not, definitely not the best eyeliner whatsoever, and I did not like it. All right, and last but not least in the disappointments, and again, I don't have this either, for the Too Faced Born This Way powder, love that, but the foundation, that was a hot mess. I don't know what happened. It looked cakey on my face. It did not blend well. Like, it was just kind of patchy too. Again, everyone is different, so if this is your holy grail, there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. But for me, this did not work on me. So I think I used it twice and I took it straight back, right along with the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores. So yeah, and I did try it with the Born This Way powder. I still didn't like it. So now for the Just Okays. I only have 3. The MAC eyebrow pencil, it's okay. Like, it literally, like, it's in the Just Okays. It is just okay. I think I have it right here. For me, it's nice. It's too warm for my brows because my hair is very ashy toned, the color that they are now, but this is like a straight warm brown. So when I use this, it worked, but it doesn't match my eyebrows. Not to mention, like, this kind of, it was creamy and it went on well, but to be honest, I would never buy this, like, after trying it. Like, this would never be something that I would repurchase. So again, if you are someone who likes MAC and you are someone who likes, like, if you have even maybe the warm brown eyebrows, again, this came in a BoxyCharm. I did not buy the wrong shade. This was the one that was given to me. So before somebody comes at me and be like, you just need to try another shade, it's not nice enough for me to buy another shade when I have a $12 one from Winky Lux that I like better and I still have. Why would I go buy one of these when I already have one of these and this is cheaper? And this don't even have a spoolie. It's not a disappointment because it did what it was supposed to do. It worked okay. But I personally would not buy that. And that's too much money for something that is just okay. It needs to wow me like this did. The next one is the Pure palette, the Sorry Diaries or whatever palette that we got in the BoxyCharm. I really like the colors. It's just a basic nude palette. Like, it did what it was supposed to do. It's a nice palette. But for me, it's not something that I was super in love with, had to have because it's just the best palette ever. It was just okay. So if you like that palette and that's your colors and that is something you were going to go for every single day, then by all means, I would tell you, if you have the money, go do it. But quite honestly, you can get more colors that are the exact same in other palettes. It's not worth it to me, but it might be to you. So that's why it is just okay, because it's not a terrible palette. It does what it's supposed to do. It's a nice formula. But as far as it being like a super necessary, like everyone has to go buy it now, it's not. It's just okay. Last but not least, and then this video is done and over with, the Makeup Studio Loose Blush. This was almost a disappointment. It's a little too dark for me, which it's a pretty color. I'm trying to get it. It's a very pretty color. It doesn't show up as nice. It's a little darker than it shows in camera. It's more of a kind of like ready clay kind of color. But again, it's a loose blush, so that's just all the color pigment on it. It's a little too pigmented for me. I can make this work, but it's a little too much work. Does that make sense? Not when I have like Wet n Wild that I'm wearing today that is basically like my go-to shade now for cheaper. Again, this came in BoxyCharm. I did not buy this, so it's not that big of a deal. I don't remember how much it cost. I'm pretty sure I have the card somewhere. I usually don't throw my BoxyCharm cards away because for whatever reason I really like them. They're pretty and I like to put them in like posters and stuff. But I'm pretty sure this was close to like at least $20. It's a nice blush. It does the job, but I would not go out and repurchase it. Alright everybody, that is it. That is the end of the video. There is more products that I've gotten that are going to go in a whole other video, maybe in the next month or so, because I got a lot, but I didn't want to put them all in the same video because it's a lot of products. I went a little stir crazy when I went back to the States. So with that being said, I also have a few more products I need to try before that video comes out. So don't worry, there's more of these. If you like them, please let me know down at the bottom by liking it. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit subscribe. That would be awesome. I'd really appreciate that. And as always, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.